From 1878 to 1968, there were 71 lake captains that called Bayview, Wisconsin, on the shore of Lake Michigan, their home. While they lived here, they captained 195 different ships, from tugboats to schooners to steamships, in voyages that took them to every one of the Great Lakes. Join us now for another episode of Bayview, Town of Lake Captains, where we explore not only these captains, but also their ships, their homes, their families, and their lifetime of sailing adventures on the Great Lakes.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bayview, Town of Lake Captains, where we talk about the 71 different lake captains that once lived in Bayview from 1878 to 1968 in the age of sail and steam. This episode is sponsored by the Historic Bayview Lake Captains Society, as they all are. Now today I'm standing in front of the former home of Captain Thomas Dunn. Now on East Lincoln Avenue, where more captains lived on this street than any other street in all of Bayview. And not only that, this northwest corner of Bayview is where the majority of them lived. So, we're right in the zone, the sweet spot for Bayview Lake Captains, for you golfers out there. All right, now Captain Dunn has a special claim to fame in Bayview history, and it's pretty amazing, but not so unusual for the time. He grew up in Michigan, born in 1861, during the Civil War. Came over, don't know when, to Wisconsin. 1861 he's born, and by 1878, when he's recorded living here as a lake captain, 78 minus 61, that's right, he was captain of a ship, and while he lived in this house at age 17, the youngest recorded Bayview lake captain, Thomas Dunn. Now, I say that's not unusual. I did a video around this time, not sure when I'm going to publish it, might have been already been published, if not it's coming up, on Nels Miller, who immigrated from Sweden, who was captain of a ship at 21. So, nevertheless, at that age, there's a big difference between 17 and 21, and Thomas Dunn is the record holder. What's more that's not unusual is that in that day and age, you know, the 1870s through probably maybe the early 1900s, it was not at all unusual to see sailors as young as 12 on sailing ships. There are several Bayview lake captains that started out at that age. Even more than that, there's another Bayview lake captain coming up whose father captained sailing ships across the Atlantic from Europe to America, or maybe Canada, transatlantic. Captain at age 16. He's from England, I believe. 16 years old, captain of a sailing ship. Probably a schooner, don't know the type. But that's the way it was back then. These kids went to sea at 12. And in that case, they're a captain by 16. So, Thomas Dunn, pretty common. Now, while he lived here, we don't know the type of ship that he captained. It could have been sail, but he's only recorded as captaining steamships. On the other hand, harder to captain steamships, they're a little more complex than sailing ships. So, I don't know. He may have started out in sailing ships and then transitioned a couple years later, which is where the steam shows up. Could very well be. If that's the case, probably a schooner captain is what Thomas Dunn was in his early days as 17 as a lake captain. Anyway, he goes on to captain several ships. Leaves, goes to Walker's Point, I think it was, comes back 16 years later to the same house, and while he lived here, he captained for sure 2 steamships and 2 steam tugs. So 4 total while he lived here. He spent many years as a lake captain. I think the total came to 23 years on the lakes. Pretty amazing guy. As they all were, like I say, every one of them was just amazing. So, Lincoln Avenue, East Lincoln Avenue I should say, also claims, in addition to not only the most captains living on this street, of any street in Bayview, but also the youngest captain, right here, and the last captain, which is just up the street, but I won't tell you yet. That captain's coming up, and he's even amazing. Where do I stop? I say they're all amazing because they are. It's just a fact. So, lots more coming. That's one captain that's coming up. That was the final captain that was here in 1968. But, just amazing people. So, here comes the narration with Simon Stanhope. Now, to follow, you'll learn more about Thomas Dunn. I'm happy to bring you this information. It's never been none of this stuff has been reported anywhere before. Just a little bit on a couple of captains down by the lake, but all 71, no. You're hearing it here first for the first time on all of them. So I'm happy to give you this information. It's previously unknown, and I think it's pretty spectacular. Remember, Cape Cod had 55 sea captains. We had 71 here in Bayview. So, tremendous. Bayview has a tremendous maritime history. Okay, that's all. Remember, hats off to our Bayview Lake captains. Take care, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Welcome to another installment of Bayview, Town of Lake Captains, where we discuss the lives of the 71 different lake captains that once lived in Bayview, Wisconsin, during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, in the age of sail and steam. This discussion will include their ships, their homes, their families, and their lifetime of sailing adventures on the Great Lakes. Here is the map of lake captains' homes in Bayview, to show you where this episode takes place. Its location focuses primarily on the large green arrow. Today we will be discussing the life of Captain Thomas P. Dunn, who was born in Michigan, before moving to Wisconsin, where he became Bayview's youngest lake captain at age 17 in 1878. During his time in Bayview, he captained 2 different steamships and 3 different tugboats, and after leaving Bayview for Milwaukee, served on 5 more steamships, captaining 4 of them, and also captained another tugboat. Captain Thomas P. Dunn was born in 1861 in Grand Haven, Michigan. His father, Mark, was born in Connecticut and worked as a laborer. His mother, Margaret, was born in Maine. He had 1 brother and 2 sisters. It's unclear if the family as an entity remained in Michigan or moved to Milwaukee together, but in any event, Thomas alone first appears in Wisconsin, living in Bayview in 1878. His first address in Bayview is 711 East Lincoln Avenue, working as a captain in 1878, age 17, ship unknown, making him Bayview's youngest lake captain. He then left Bayview after a year for several different and changing Milwaukee addresses from 1879 to 1893, during which he either was mate or captain on the following ships: the steamer F&P M No. 5, first mate 1890, the steamer Arcadia, captain 1891, the steamer Joys, captain 1892, and steamer John C. Pringle, captain 1893. During this time he also joined the Whale Club of Milwaukee in 1891, most likely a maritime organization, its purpose and mission unknown. Captain Dunn then returned to 711 East Lincoln Avenue in 1894 through 1897. During these years he is documented to have been captain of the following vessels: 1894, the steamer John C. Pringle. 1895, the steamer City of Louisville. 1895 to 96, the tug J.C. Perrott, its name changed in late 1896 to J.C. Ames. 1896, the tug S.M. Fisher, and in 1897, tug J.C. Ames again. He is also documented during his time in Bayview to have participated as a member in many activities from 1895 to 98 with the Milwaukee branch of the International Shipmasters Association. In 1900, he and his family left Bayview yet again for an apartment in Milwaukee on Clyburn Street. This is the last recorded Milwaukee address for him, though he probably remained in Milwaukee. In 1903, he became captain of the steamship Omaha, and in 1904 appears to have been captain of the large tugboat Vigilant. After this command, his activities are undocumented. Of interest, the steamship Omaha was also captained by other Bayview Lake captains, first by Hugh Clark in 1889, then Hawley Boyce from 1895 to 97, and finally by Thomas Dunn in 1903. On 8th April 1890, he married Catherine Crane in Manistee, Michigan. They had 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls: Catherine, Thomas, Raymond, Marie, Frank, and Margaret. Of interest, his wife Catherine is documented while living in Bayview to have taken their 3 children on a vacation to her parents' home in Michigan in mid-September 1895, and also to have participated in a masquerade surprise party for a neighbour on Mound Street that featured music, dancing, and games. Captain Dunn died in March 1910, age 50, and wife Catherine died in March 1939, age 71. They are buried at Calvary Cemetery in Milwaukee. Thanks for watching. This photograph isn't about Bayview or its lake captains, but it's from the same era of Great Lakes maritime history. We thought we'd close with it for enjoyment, as it captures the spirit of the era. If you'd like to read more details about Captain Thomas Dunn, as well as the sources for the information contained in today's video, you can find these and more in the book Bayview, Town of Lake Captains, for sale now by individual volumes on both Amazon.com and HenschelHouseBooks.com. All proceeds from book sales go to support various maritime history projects related to Bayview's lake captains. One of these is a plaque and marker with the captains' names and addresses on it as part of the creation of the Bayview Lake Captains Historic District, which will be the first of its kind in America. If you would like to contribute to support these projects, to include this and other markers honouring Bayview's lake captains, with 100% of all donations and contributions in all forms going to support them, please consider contributing to us through the listings found on our website under the Contribute button. Note, we are not a 501c3, so contributions are not tax-deductible. If, for some reason, we are unable to secure these markers, then all funds donated to this site will be given as a cash donation to the museum ship SS City of Milwaukee in Manistee, Michigan. This is the only surviving intact ship that was once captained by a Bayview lake captain, and in its case was captained by at least 2, and likely 3, totaling over 20 years between them. Finally, we also have free self-guided walking tours of Bayview's 71 lake captains' homes, using only your phone. It's simple and easy. Just go to our website, shown here, find the item on the menu bar at the upper left named Free Self-Guided Walking Tours, and then scroll down to find the map with instructions. Zoom in by street. When you find a captain's house you're interested in, click on it and details appear on the right, along with a link to the YouTube episode from this channel that provides the biography of the captain that lived there. It's free, fun, and available any time you're out walking. Just bring along your phone. I'm Simon Stanhope, narrator for these episodes. Join us again soon for the next chapter of Bayview, Town of Lake Captains.